So 4 years ago, I took the program. I did it 2 years part-time. And right after I graduated, I started working at a health food store called Healthy Planet. How many of you are familiar with that? Okay, everybody knows it. So I started part-time as a nutritionist. So the same designation that you would get out of this program, that's how I started working on the floor, dealing with people, dealing with their questions, learning about supplements, talking about food, all this stuff, and gaining confidence to help people and make a difference. Okay, how many of you want confidence, want to be able to help people? Okay, good. So you'll get the skill sets that you need, trust me, but I applied them. So I started working, and then on the side, because I was a part-time nutritionist, I started doing iridology, which is where you look at people's eyes, you take pictures, and you can see their nervous system, and you can see things that could be inflammatory, you could see things that could be genetic, weaknesses in tissues. I was really fascinated by the art of seeing eyes. I thought that was really intriguing. So I had my own clinic, so I'd do that part-time, and then part-time I was a nutritionist at a health food store. But as I progressed as a nutritionist, I was then offered to become a manager of a health food store. So now I currently manage full-time the Danforth location of Healthy Planet. So if you've ever been in that area, you'll see me walking around busy doing stuff. I now have a team of about 14. We have I think 5 nutritionists, 1 naturopathic doctor, and a support staff. So it's great to see what I was able to accomplish out of this curriculum coming from just being interested. Do you guys get it? So I was from a completely different background, completely shifted my life, and now was able to really help people and make an impact. So how many of you like to make an impact?
Yeah.
Good. So turn to your partner next to you, give them a high five, and say you're awesome.
You're awesome.
Yes, you are all awesome. So today I chose a topic which was dear to me, which is how does one create beauty? Do you guys get that? Because for me that really resonated. And I didn't want to talk about something and that was really boring. I wanted to tie in something that was interesting and intriguing for you guys. So before we move forward with this conversation, on your sheet, what I want you to do is just write down one sentence or a few words or whatever you think currently what it means to create beauty. How would you create beauty, or what does that look like for you? Does that make sense? So, you know, out there in the world, people have their set ways of deciding what is beautiful, what is not, and they have ways to create that beauty. Do you guys get it? Whether it's makeup or artistry or whatever. For you, what resonates? What creates beauty? So just take a moment, write that down.
Pen's gone.
The pen is gone. We'll get you a new one. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, how many of you wrote something down? Okay. What I want you to do is turn to the person next to you and just briefly, in 10 seconds, share what you wrote down. Okay, just share in 10 seconds what you wrote down with each other. Let's do that All right. Give your partner a high five. Tell them you're awesome. All right. So who would like to share something they wrote down? 1 or 2 words of what they wrote down, what it means to create beauty. Yes.
For me, I wrote down nature creates beauty, flowers, gardening, and decorating.
Okay, so the key word is nature creates. I really like that. Okay. What else do we have? If you want to just share what you wrote down. Sure.
I got basically how does one create beauty is basically everybody's got to go through a detox cleanse. I think is our environment, our food, everything is polluted with chemicals and GMOs and all kinds of crap, and the only way to clean it is we've got to do a detox. Everybody's got to go through that process. If you don't, you just become ill and sick, and later on you get cancer and then you die. Okay? Yeah.
Summary. Life cycle summary.
Okay?
Fast track.
Yes. Sure. Tell us your name.
My name is Gian.
Gian. Nice to meet you.
Or Gina.
Okay.
Gina is easy. So beauty to me is when one is balanced on mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
And when one can produce a mirror reflect of love, inner and outer. So it's like a perfect reflection. You focus inner, but it reflects outer, and vice versa.
So mirror. Does that make sense? Mirror.
A mirror, inner and outer of love.
Of love. And
Yeah.
the key word is
Yes.
the vibration of love.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And one more person that'd like to share. Yes.
Mine is just being happy from within.
Happy from within. Ah. Okay. I'm going to put the word being here because being can be any state that you choose, right? You can be happy, you can be sad. I'm sure when you learn energy medicine, you'll see that you can choose your state of being, which is then accompanied by a frequency or energy, which makes a whole difference, right? So thank you for sharing all that, because we're now going to dive deep into this concept using the fundamentals of health and nutrition that we teach in the course that you're going to learn about. So the major theme is that physical beauty is a function of inner cleanliness. It's a function of having healthy skin, hair, nails, and internal connective tissue grown from foods rich in minerals. From what? What did I just say?
Minerals.
Minerals, good. I want to make sure you guys are paying attention. You got some minerals, essential fats, you can't be afraid of healthy fats, amino acids, which come from protein, enzymes, while maintaining a proper acid-alkaline balance. That's a lot, right? But by the end of today, you are going to have a blueprint that's going to show you exactly how to do that, okay? And on top of that, it involves the second theme of removing parasites. These are things that we don't want inside of us. We have foods and herbs that help. And there are antioxidant-rich foods that delay the process of free radical damage. We're in a very polluted environment, and we need to have foods and solutions that can help us protect from that damage. And finally, anti-inflammation, because how many of you know that you don't want puffiness, you don't want that swelling, you don't want to be inflamed, okay? So if we can control these aspects, then we have a key distinction from today, all right? So I give you your beauty blueprint. So today what we're going to do is we're going to complete this so that you get 4 key concepts that will allow you to start creating beauty from within, okay? So the first concept is digestive health and inner cleanliness. And you'll see it's right on your sheet, right there, okay? We have a diet of whole foods rich in minerals, enzymes, essential fats, and amino acids. On the other side, you've got antioxidants, inflammation, and lifestyle management. And at the bottom, we're going to talk a little bit about acid-alkaline balance. How many of you have heard of things that they're too acidic, or they're too alkaline, or you need to have a balance, you need both? So we're going to talk a little bit about what this balance is and how you can get it into your life. How many of you are ready for this? Mm-hmm. Ready to get started? All right. So the first thing I want you to fill in your mind is, you hear this all the time. You are what you eat. How many of you agree with that? Okay, what did you guys eat today? Hopefully good fruits, good things.
Also, you are what you don't eat.
Right, exactly. You are what you eat, you are what you don't eat, and a few other things, and we're going to get to that. But what I want to get you present to is the fact that over the course of your lifetime, almost 25 tons of food is going to go through your digestive system. How many tons? 25 tons. That's insane. And you get to choose all of that 25 tons. Okay, that's your choice. It's what you put on your fork, it's what goes through you, and it's what's going to create you. How many of you understand that? You get that at a profound level? Okay. Now the other thing is, that's a very delicate system as well. And you can't be harsh with it. You have to keep it in balance. You have to keep it clean. Because if you don't, it's going to cause a lot of the issues that we're seeing today in our environment. The reason we need holistic nutritionists is because people have not been taking care of this digestive health. Okay? So turn to your partner and say, that's a lot of food. All right. So we mentioned that you are what you eat, but digestive health is actually the process of 4 mechanisms. How many mechanisms? 4. 4. All right. So really, the manifestation of beauty and this blueprint is the result of what you eat, what you digest, what you assimilate, and what you eliminate. So it's 4 things, not just what you put in. It's everything else in between and what comes out on the other side, okay? So we're going to talk about those 4 because they determine that balance that we're looking for. So, digestive health. Digestion, what is that? That is the breakdown of ingested food into its component parts. Okay, you all know you put something in, it has to be broken down before it can get into you. There's a process there. There are enzymes involved. There's ways that the body will either take it in or just flush it out. So we need to properly digest our food. Because if we don't, then we're not going to absorb the nutrients that we just ate. How many of you understand that? You don't chew it properly, you don't absorb it. You can't take all of those good things from the food, get it into the bloodstream so that it can go to all the tissues where it needs to go. Then once you've got it in the bloodstream, your cells have to be able to take it in. They themselves need to be healthy. So sometimes people tell me, look, I'm taking all these vitamins, I'm taking all these herbs, and nothing's happening. Why is it that my cells aren't taking it in? Well, you need to correct the cell. Do you guys get that? So we need to make sure that the cell itself, when it gets all these nutrients, it's able to bring it into the cell and remove all the toxins as well. So that's part of the assimilation and elimination. Because then we have to get rid of those toxins that the cells make and get them where? Out of your body. But for many people today, they're not getting it out of their body. It just recirculates, gets put into fatty tissue, and they swell up, and then they get all these other health issues. All right? So if you do not detox, it's going to be or else you will something else. Do you guys get that? So that was very key. So those are the 4 steps: digestion, absorption, assimilation, and elimination. Now, in the course fundamentals, I go through close to 4 hours on just digestion of how the digestive tract works, and then how we actually break down our carbohydrates, you know, all the sugars, breads, pastas, everything that people eat, the fats, the proteins, and all that stuff. So we're not going to go too much into depth about the digestive process today, because we're going to go straight to how we can create that beauty. Okay, you guys? It takes a lot of time. The course I teach is 14 sessions, 3 hours each. So it's like a lot of content. And a bulk of it is the digestive health, because that is foundational. If you can correct digestive health, you can help a lot of people, including yourself. So for beauty, here's what I want you to focus on. Eat foods that the body can readily turn into a liquid. Turn to your partner and say, you need to liquefy. You see, the entire premise of digestion is to ingest foods and convert it into a liquid so that we can easily pass those nutrients in a form through the digestive villi into their bloodstream and into the cells. And most people do not take the time to properly digest their food because they haven't taken that time. And I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So the first simple step, and this is what a lot of people do very quickly, is chew your food. Okay? You need to liquefy the food in your mouth. It's not about having chunks and then swallowing, because are there any teeth in your stomach? No, there are no more teeth anywhere else. So you get one chance to liquefy the food in your mouth. And this is where you get to be mindful when you're eating, and you get to slow down the pace. Because when you take a bite of food and you actually take the time to liquefy it, make sure that the saliva gets everywhere. The saliva itself starts breaking down some of the food. It also starts to disinfect some of the pathogens, okay? And it allows your body to put a signature on the food. Does that make sense? Because your body produces the saliva mixes in with all the food. Now the body says, this is something that I am now creating. Does that make sense? I'm now going to extract the benefits of this sustenance that I just took into my body. So you need to chew your food. So when you see a lot of kids, what do? Gobble, 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 swallow. Gobble, 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 swallow. Oh, Mom, Dad, I've got a tummy ache, right? So the first key is chew your food. It's funny because when I was teaching some of my students, I told them during lunch, they had to chew their soup. There's vegetables in there. I'm like, switch it around, get the saliva going, really take the time. And initially, it seems a little bit crazy. But if you do this one thing, number one, you'll lose weight. Number two, you'll feel like the food is making a difference and getting into your body. And number three, you will be grateful. How many of you understand the power of gratitude?
Wow. Good.
Right?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
So when you're mindful, when you're sitting with people you like, enjoy the food, chew it. If you don't like to chew, there's a blender. So I tell people, try to incorporate a smoothie that has a lot of superfoods in it, or do some juicing initially to get these liquid nutrients into your system. And that's a really key and powerful strategy that a lot of nutritionists do to make it easy for people. Like first thing in the morning, if I'm gonna have a smoothie, I'll put all my superfoods and my berries and my greens and my healthy oils, blend it up on the magic bullet thing. It does it on its own. I pick it up, I drink it, and it's in my car and I'm ready to go. Does that make sense? It's better to do that than have a bagel with cheese and a coffee or something. Do you guys get it? So it's a simple shift, but if you have liquids in your diet, that is gonna ease the burden on your digestive system. Some of you can implement chewing your food and blending something or juicing something once a day. Yes? Doable? Okay. The other thing I want to mention is do not drink a lot of water when you're having your meals. Okay? Drink maybe 30 minutes before, or drink 30 minutes or an hour after your meals. But during, just drink enough to swallow. So let's just say you're eating, it's dry, you need to swallow, just go. That's it. Because what you don't want to do is dilute the digestive juices in your stomach, because when you dilute them, they're not as effective. How many of you get that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so those few things will make a huge difference when it comes to what you're doing. Now, there is something magical in raw plant foods because they themselves contain living liquid. Turn to your partner and say, I want some of this living liquid. What is this stuff?
We know.
You know. Okay, good. So when you ate that strawberry or that pineapple or that celery or that cucumber just a moment ago, it was filled with water that was structured. Turn to your partner and say, it was structured. Structured. And what I mean by that is water holds information. And the way plants are able to take water, put them into their cells, and structure them, they've transformed water. And when you eat foods that are rich in this juice and this water, you're transferring that information into your own system. So I'd rather get my liquids and my juices and the water from these structured places than drinking water that's gone through copper pipes and all this stuff, and then all this noise with all these pharmaceuticals, and then filtered hopefully with no energy or information. You guys get that? There is an energetic frequency to juices. So juice makes your tissues juicier. Juice makes you more juiced about life, and juice allows you to squeeze more juice out of every moment. So if you want beauty, your tissues should have a juicy quality about them. And you can only get that from raw foods. Do you guys get that? Okay. How many of you like oranges or grapefruits? Doesn't that look so juicy and delicious that you just want to have it? Now the other thing I want to point to is that raw foods also have electrical energy. So this is Kirlian photography.
Beautiful.
And it's a photographic technique where you can actually see the coronal discharges from living plants, fruits, herbs, flowers,
Wonderful.
things that vibrate at a high frequency. And sometimes we can't see that with our eyes, but it's still there. But when you cook food, you can destroy that vital force or energy. So I'm not saying don't cook food. I'm saying add in raw foods as well, because they've got that juice, they've got that electricity, they've got that energy that's going to fuel your beauty, it's going to fuel your health. Okay, so you can do a lot more research, you can Google this stuff. It's really fascinating to see that there is energy and electricity. In essence, we are electrical beings. Do you guys know that? We have a lot of electricity flowing through our nerves. So we want to support that with high frequency, high electric foods, and we get that from organic raw fruits and vegetables. Now, people often debate over humans being frugivores, carnivores, omnivores, herbivores. What am I supposed to eat, right? That's the big question out there. Am I supposed to do the paleo diet? Am I supposed to do the keto diet? Am I supposed to do the carb diet? Am I supposed to do the raw vegan diet? Are you guys confused? Right? There's so much information out there and so many people doing so many different things. But at the end of the day, the truth is that human beings will eat anything. Right? Name any plant, any worm, insect, and the odds are somewhere, somehow, somebody ate it. Okay, so it's not like we will eat whatever we can, and we've tried for thousands of years, and we know things that will kill us, and some things that will sustain us, some things that taste good, some things that taste bad. The point is we'll try everything. But what I want to bring your attention to is that what we eat deeply and radically affects the way we think, feel, and behave. And that's the question people don't ask about the food that you're eating. Okay, so I want you to let that resonate a bit. Is how do you feel when you eat something? Or how does it make you behave? Or what thoughts come out as a result of that type of diet or lifestyle? And sometimes we forget that there's more to food than just the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Do you guys get it? There's more to it.
Energy.
So different foods fuel different types of thoughts, moods, actions, physical appearance, and geometry, and different destinations in life. So ask yourself, where are you headed with your current diet? So on your sheet, I just want you to take a moment and write down whatever you're currently doing, what direction is it heading you to? Where is it leading you to? What choices is it leading you to? Just write 1 or 2 words or a sentence on what your current diet, where it's leading you to right now as it stands. It's making you think, isn't it? And you can even say it's a good direction, it's a bad direction, it's healthy, unhealthy, it needs to change, or it doesn't, or it's working, it's not working, right? All right. Who would like to share 1 or 2 things they wrote down as far as where, yes, your name and
My name is Almas.
Almas, okay.
Yes, and For me, I eat very healthy. My diet is very healthy to keep my balance. But my main drawback is I have a very strong sugar urge.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I need a dessert. I crave for it. That's something that really sometimes puts me off. Though I have all the fresh foods, everything is there.
Right.
But then also, like as you said, you behave. Like I will like go there. I'm very fond of cooking. I'll cook something. Also.
Right.
But I like something like a rich dessert. In the classical type, I prefer that.
Got
I
it.
try to keep myself away from it. I
Okay.
train my brain not to eat it, but sometimes I cheat.
Your physical brain cheats.
Yeah.
Your conscious
Or
brain
whatever.
tricks
I
you
do have
into
that
it.
strong.
I understand.
Well, thank you for sharing. Who can relate? Who can relate to desserts? Yes, of course. All right. One other person like to share on this side? Yes, your name and.
My name is Jill.
Jill.
And I wrote down optimal health and also into debt.
Right, exactly.
Eating healthy is expensive.
Offensive, right?
But it increases your overall value. Yeah, mainly healthy.
Good, good. Awesome.
I try to eat healthy, but still I don't know, I feel a little tired once I eat food.
Okay, got it. Nice. So you're trying to eat healthy, but there's something missing, or there's something there that's not leading you to the path of optimum feeling of
I've
wellness.
slowed down. Recently I feel that I've slowed down.
Slow down. Okay, got it. All right. So this is a good question to ask people is, to, when they ask you, what should I eat? Say, well, what you're currently doing, what path is it leading you on? And that's one of the things I've learned as a nutritionist is to ask questions. How many of you can ask good questions? So it's not about things being good or bad and trying to convince people. Just ask them questions, and that can lead them into a certain thinking or thought process. And that is a more powerful tool to get them to distinguish what actions they feel that they can implement. So, getting back to beauty. Nature's paintbrush uses food minerals as cosmetics. What does it use?
Food minerals.
Food minerals, that's right. It's in all of those beautiful fruits and vegetables and other things that we have that create this warm, vivid youthfulness in your hair, skin, and nails. And the symmetry of raw fruits and vegetables, they kind of impart their pattern, their structure onto us. So mineralized foods that are high in silicon, magnesium, sulfur, they can all maintain and restore the mineral density of bones, hair, and your teeth. So let me show you something. Symmetrical nutrition involves taking in foods that are geometrically harmonious and based on the golden ratio of 5, such as raw fruits and vegetables. And I think the first comment here is very fitting. Nature creates. It knows how to use the mathematics of our universe to create foods in a certain pattern that follow that ratio. It's already designed for you. It's right there in front of your eyes. And these structures, they impart a balancing pattern upon us. Because in essence, we are designed in a similar way. We have a structure, we have a ratio, everything was designed in a certain pattern. And by eating foods that keep this pattern, it nourishes our pattern. Do you guys get that? So let's look at a few images and see what pops out at you. When you look at that kiwi, how does it make you feel?
Amazing. Wow.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it? That's beauty, right? Don't you just want to eat it? You're like, be part of me. Come on, let me just eat it. And when I look at it, it seems like it's vibrating at a certain level. Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Even though it's a still image, it's got this frequency. It's like, wow, this is really beautiful. What about the cauliflower? Right? How many of you like cauliflower? I think cauliflower pizza crusts are now in, cauliflower, all these things. Yeah, everything is going in that route.
There's also, it's like order.
There's order.
Motion.
There's structure.
There's no chaos. It's not chaotic.
It's geometry, it's beauty.
Yeah.
It's proportions, it's color, it's balance, and it all has that juice we talked about, right? That water, that structured water. Look at the cabbage. Now what's interesting is that certain foods also resemble certain parts of our body, okay? So if you look at a famous example, if you cut a carrot in half, does it not look like an eye? And you know that carrots are good for the eyes. Yeah. Another good example is a tomato. When you cut open a tomato, what does it look like?
This is the heart.
It looks like chambers of the heart. Does a tomato not nourish the cardiovascular and the heart? Yeah. When you look at, for example, the stomach, how many of you know that ginger soothes the stomach when you have an upset stomach? Do you guys get it? It's got that same shape and structure. When we look at, let's see, celery, high in minerals. Do you think it's nourishing your bones? Absolutely. So nature has given us clues as well. It said, you know what, we're going to put things out there so it's so easy for you to find that you can actually see the structure, the pattern that's right there in front of you that can nourish vitality and beauty. It's right there in all the foods that are available. Now in raw foods, there is a magic as well beyond just the juice. Inside of this structured water are enzymes. How many of you know what enzymes are? How many of you don't know what enzymes are? Okay, we spend a lot of time talking about enzymes in fundamentals because enzymes are catalysts. They make things happen. So we have physical motion, which is when we do something, but when we're at rest and nothing is moving, enzymes are working. They're the ones that have things happen. They're the actors in our biochemistry. They are actually small proteins that break down our foods, and without them, we would accumulate undigested materials in our system, which would lead to inflammation, stagnation, digestive distress, and fatigue. So enzymes are what you're after. Turn to your partner and tell them. Enzymes are what you're after. And I'll give you a simple example, okay? There are thousands of enzymes out there, but our enzyme reserves correlate to our vitality. They've actually done studies where they've seen young people, the salivary enzymes are 30 times greater in their mouth than somebody who is at the age of 69. 30 times greater. They have this life force's vitality, this usefulness because of these enzymes. Do you guys get that? So enzymes are what we're after. But enzymes are kind of like codes. They tell food where to go in our body. So I'll give you an example. There's an enzyme called erepsin, which is found in cucumbers. And what?
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers, you got it. And its function is to break down protein that's usually found in the kidneys. So when you eat cucumbers, you are nourishing your kidneys because there is an enzyme in there that helps break down protein in that area of the body. So enzymes are kind of like things that will do stuff, but they're also codes. They tell the body where to go, where to deliver those nutrients, and the body magically knows what to do with that. You guys get it? It's really interesting. So that's just one example of an enzyme. But what I want you to know is that every single cell in your body has the potential to be a very highly charged battery containing more than 4,000 enzymes. How many enzymes?
4,000.
Yes, more than 4,000. Enzymes do all the action in every cell and all actions of life. But we need mineral-rich whole plant foods to activate our cellular metabolic enzyme system. So what do we need? Minerals. Minerals, okay, minerals. Now if you look at our soils today, with the current agriculture, do we get a lot of minerals?
No.
No, we don't. We're mineral void, okay? We get enough vitamins because most people, plants can make vitamins, but they cannot make minerals. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
You did? Okay. I want to say that one more time.
Yeah.
So plants can make vitamins, but they cannot make minerals. The minerals must come from the soil. So if our soils are depleted, if we're buying conventional food that's sprayed and they're not adding in all the trace minerals, we're only getting the 3 or 4 main minerals that they put in to make it look green and grow. That's it. So minerals are very key. It's what's missing in a lot of people's diets. So yes, it's expensive to eat organic and healthy, but if you choose a few foods that are mineral rich and avoid the ones that aren't, then you'll be spending your money wisely. Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to tell you a few of those as we go forward. Now, just so you guys know, on your sheet, these boxes are so you can take notes about every topic. Okay, so hopefully you're using it to your benefit. All right. So the number one source of misery and decay we are witnessing in our society today is auto-intoxication. What's it called?
Auto-intoxication.
Yes, that is self-poisoning caused by bad microorganisms, metabolic waste, and other toxins in the body. This is the number one source of all the problems. Okay, so it's what we're doing to ourselves internally by not being able to clean up this environment. So part of understanding holistic health is this notion of detoxification. We need to not only eat the right foods, break them down, get them into our bloodstream, assimilate them, but we also need to manage the garbage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
How many of you remember when in Toronto there was a garbage strike?
Yeah.
What happened to the city? Okay, chaos, smelled disgusting, things started piling up. It was just really chaotic. Now in that state, what came out? There were more raccoons, there were more, spills, things smelled, people didn't walk, it was just disgusting. Do you guys get it? So just like in the external environment, we want things to be clean and tidy, that same philosophy has to exist as a process in our inside. And we have to be aware of that, and it should be something that we consider as part of a natural process. That we can't just let whatever happens happen. We actually have to strategically think, how am I going to detoxify? Am I detoxifying? Am I cleaning out the waste? Because if you can clean out your gut, if you can heal the gut, that's where all the disease, that's where all the problems begin. Okay? So how do toxins enter our body? Well, toxins enter through our skin, right? Some of you may not understand yet that anything you put on your skin will be in your bloodstream within 22 minutes. Anything. Put on a lotion, put on a nice perfume, put on cosmetics. Your skin is not a barrier like you thought. It is porous. It allows things to seep deep in and get into your bloodstream. So that's one way we get toxins into our body. The second way is obviously what we eat and drink, right? Those are the primary ways. And also what we're breathing. So polluted air, and if we're in environments that are toxic, we're gonna breathe in those chemicals, those fumes, all that kind of stuff. Another way we could get toxins in is through injections. So just be mindful that when you do get your shots, there's preservatives in there, there's metals in there, and you also need to have a way of getting rid of those through certain methods, okay? So that's another way that we could get some contaminants. Now, who's responsible to clean all this mess up? Your liver. Okay, your liver is your primary organ of detoxification. So we have to give love to this liver because it is working 24/7, 7 days a week. It never takes a break. Even while you're sleeping, it's the most active. It is actually doing all its work primarily while you're sleeping. It's cleaning things up. It's really trying to get rid of all these toxins. And then once it packages all these toxins, it's going to allow those toxins to leave the body through your kidneys when you urinate, through the colon when you go to the bathroom, when you breathe. I want you to take a moment right now and take a deep breath. About 80% of all the toxins leave your body through breathing, primarily carbon dioxide. It's a toxin, okay? So make it a point to breathe deeply several times a day. If that felt good, you're welcome to do it one more time.
Can you repeat that? 80%?
80% of most toxins will be eliminated by breathing. Our lungs have because CO2 is one of the primary toxins. And your body will also try to push toxins out through the skin. So you know when people complain about acne, psoriasis, eczema, skin issues, that is a result of toxins and other things that are building up in the body, and the body doesn't have a way to get rid of them, so now it's pushing it out through other methods.
Wow.
Okay? So the skin is another tool of detoxification. So when you learn stuff here, you'll learn about dry brushing, you'll learn about saunas, you'll learn about how to open up your pores, how to detox the skin, how to take certain herbs. We go through all of that. And I learned a lot when I learned about how to detoxify. That's your lovely liver. Give it some love. Okay? It does a lot of hard work. It needs a smiley face or something. So there are 4 important components of gut health. Number 1, you need clean water. Number 2, you need good bacteria. Number 3, you need fiber to move things out. And number 4 is that magic word we call enzymes. A bit louder, guys. Come on. Enzymes, yes. Okay. So your gut health is also mediated by stress management, mental and emotional health. Do you notice when you're stressed out, you get the runs sometimes? How many of you get like an upset stomach? Yeah, you're sensitive. So there is this mind-gut connection. Okay, there are these hormones. There's these ways that we feel that affect our digestive system. Your diet, sleep, and exercise. How many of you know that if you eat too late, or you don't eat, or you don't sleep properly, your diet is, you don't feel as hungry, or you feel too hungry? Do you guys get that? Immunity and genetics, and of course your microbiome. So the first step to good health and cleansing is to drink more
Good water. Oh,
good water.
clean water.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's good. So drink clean water. How many of you drink at least 6 to 8 cups of clean water daily? Okay. How many of you drink 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day? Okay. Yeah. So what we want to do is start to transition to make more choices where we're mindful about getting enough water. If your lips are dry or you're already thirsty, you're already dehydrated. If you get headaches, you're dehydrated. Most of the times, most health issues are related to dehydration. We don't get enough structured, clean water in our diet. Okay, so if you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, you may not feel the need to drink water. So you might say, you know what, I'm okay on 3 or 4 glasses. That's because you're getting all the structured water from fruits and vegetables that your body feels nourished. So that also counts, okay? But we want clean water. But one thing I want to bring to your attention is there are many contaminants in traditional tap water, okay, including what you shower and bathe in. Because remember I told you one way to get toxins in the body is through the skin, right? So be mindful that there's chlorine, there's fluoride, there's pesticide residues, there's medication and hormone residues. When people pee and they're on lots of meds, it goes through our septic systems. Those systems try to remove everything, but they can't remove trace amounts of medications. They're still present in our water supply at trace amounts. So just keep that in mind. Bacteria in remote areas, water softening agents, lead, copper pipes. So these are all things that are in water. So we want to make sure that we always try to get water that's clean, filtered, and be mindful of that as well. Okay? Does that shock a lot of people, or you guys, you already knew that that was important? Yes.
What is your suggestion on filtering systems, like Berkey or a regular Brita?
Brita?
Like, no.
Sentiva.
Sentiva is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Sentiva too. What I would recommend is anything that can remove fluoride is good, because fluoride is one of the smallest things to remove. So if the unit can remove fluoride, it's removing all the chlorine, heavy metals, contaminants, and all that other stuff.
That's a good point.
Sentiva does
Yeah.
that, yeah. So you can do Brita, only does about it's more about the chlorine and taste, but it's still a great place for somebody to start. It's better to start there and not have it. So I tell people, if that's all you have, great. Now you're aware that your water has to be clean. Yes.
What about this whole concept? My grandmother's like, just boil the water.
No.
So I'm just,
That's for the remote areas where there was bacteria, because bacteria would be killed by the boiling, but all those other chemicals
well, it's not filtered out.
is not filtered. What is filtered is the steam. So if you collected the steam, which is distillation, you're distilling water. So they had it half right. Half right, which is, no, the clean water is actually the stuff that's leaving. That's the actual clean water.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
The water bottles that, no, there's so many different.
Oh, that's a
well,
whole...
yeah. Some of those are filtered, some of those are spring water. But again, anything is probably better than tap water, because even though it's tested, it still has fluoride and chlorine and other things that you shouldn't be drinking. So just clean the water. Okay.
So question.
Yes.
So what about something like
spring water that just go to someplace and it's just water flowing.
Yep. Spring water is one of the best highly charged structured waters we can get. Just make sure it's a clean spring, that people actually have gone there, tested it, and that it's safe to drink. But yeah, spring water is probably the ultimate in structured water that we can find. It's the most ideal. Why? Because it's been flowing through the earth, all those nice minerals, it's being cleansed, it's been going through nice shapes, and it's got structure again. Ideally, that's the water that we want, but now it's getting very remote because people are starting to live further and further out. But if you can get good quality spring water, that is the best type of water.
What's your opinion on distilled water?
My opinion on distilled water is, number one, it gets everything out that you don't want in. Number two, the only thing you need to do is restructure it. So you can add a crystal in there, you can put it in sunlight. There's other things you can do to just restructure it or spin it to bring back information, and that's it. So you can do that. And you can add some Himalayan salt to bring back some minerals because it's void of all minerals. Oh my God, you guys are really interested in water. That's awesome. Okay. All right, so we have to move on because there's so much more I want to cover with you guys. The other part of good digestive health is the good bacteria. How many of you have heard that your gut microbiome is really important? All those healthy bacteria? Okay. So it functions like an organ. There are actually 10 times more bacterial cells in your gut than there are human cells that make up your body.
Mostly bugs.
You're mostly bugs. You are more bugs, actually. So 10 times more gut bacteria cells in your digestive system than exist in your entire body. So you are more a gut microbiome than you are you. So really, they are you, okay? And they actually influence you. They actually give you your cravings. They tell you late at night, oh, I want some sugar, I want some sugar. They're talking to your brain. And they've shown this, that the type of gut bacteria will actually influence your desire for certain types of foods. And they found that certain gut microbiomes will make somebody obese or they'll make them thin. They've done transplants, and all they did is they just transplanted somebody's gut bacteria from one person to the next, and they lost weight. So they make a huge influence, okay? They're part of our immune system. They attack the bad bacteria. They affect our absorption of minerals. They help us with our bowel transit time. And they are huge in factors of skin issues. When somebody says, I've got the skin issues, you always go back to the gut. There's a dysbiosis, there's some antibiotic use, there's something there that disrupted the good bacteria there. So we always put an emphasis on gut healing and the bacteria that exists there. So moving on, the beauty of hair, skin, and nails depends on how mineralized we are. So choosing foods that have high concentrations of minerals is eating for beauty. So typically, highly mineralized foods are what we call alkalizing. How many of you have heard that word before? Something acid, alkaline? Okay, great. So what is this acid alkaline stuff? Well, this is the pH scale, and things that are at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're considered acidic. Something that's at 7, like water, is around neutral. And then things that are very alkaline, they're very mineral rich, they are anywhere from 9, 10, or in the blue section. Do you guys get it? So there's a pH, which is potential hydrogen in something, and that determines their acidity. Now your blood will do everything in its capacity to maintain a pH of the blood of anywhere from 7.35 to 7.4. Okay, so the blood needs to be within this range. If it goes below or if it goes higher than that, there are going to be consequences, very bad consequences, even death. So the body will always do its best to maintain a pH that's within this range. If you have a diet that's too acidic, it will take minerals from bones to neutralize those acids to bring the pH back to normal in the body. So when you test your blood and it's within normal, that's because the body is doing what it needs to do. Doesn't mean that you're not too acidic or your tissues are not too acidic. It's just drawing minerals from where it needs to keep the blood consistent. Okay, so sometimes we do blood work and we're like, oh, everything's normal, I'm fine. But we don't understand that the body has to regulate certain things to keep it within a certain range. Okay?
Excuse me, if you
Yes.
do a saliva test, would you get a different reading for compared to the blood?
No, because your saliva should be slightly alkaline, okay, because there's there's alkaline enzymes there. So the way it works is it's alkaline in the mouth, acidic in the stomach, alkaline in the intestines, and slightly acidic in the colon. So it goes like a battery back and forth, back and forth. And it needs those because certain enzymes need an acidic environment, certain enzymes need an alkaline environment. The stomach needs to be very acidic, okay, to activate those protein digesting enzymes. But once it leaves the stomach, your body releases something called bile, which is very alkaline, and it activates the alkaline enzymes to do the next part. And again, we cover this in fundamentals over like hours and hours. But what I want you to know today is that acidity can be the underlying cause that disturbs beauty. Why? Because it creates inflammation, puffiness, asymmetry, and contraction of tissues. So the best solution is to eat a ratio of foods that are more alkaline than acidic. I did not say that acidic foods are bad. Did I say that?
No.
No, I simply said have a ratio that is more alkaline than acidic, because certain acidic foods you still need. Your body needs them. But as long as you're more on the alkaline side, that balance can be maintained. That health, that vibrancy can be maintained. We can lower inflammation. Does everybody get that? Now you're going to say, well, what kind of foods?
So the higher the alkaline, the less the inflammation.
That's one way to look at it, but just know that alkalinity will come from highly mineralized foods,
Right.
which will help reduce inflammation. But
okay.
inflammation
That makes
can be
sense.
caused by many other things, not just acidity, but toxins, by pain, by injury. There's other things that will cause inflammation. Okay? So alkaline minerals include calcium, and you guys can write this down on the back. It says alkaline minerals for the body include calcium, magnesium, silicon, iron, sodium, and manganese. They actually create alkalinity in the body.
So if you're deficient in those minerals, you'll be more acidic?
What you'll realize is that when you're eating foods that are not based on these minerals, they're based on other minerals that we'll get to, your body will be more acidic because those minerals are found in more acidic foods. But when you look at things like greens, like leafy greens, they're made from chlorophyll, right? The green thing. At the center of chlorophyll is magnesium. So every time you take a bite of a green, you're eating magnesium, magnesium, magnesium. But then, if we move on to acidic minerals, those are things like phosphorus, chlorine, iodine, nitrogen, and sulfur. All amino acids have nitrogen in them, which means all the meat products, chicken, all that other stuff is full of protein. Proteins from muscle tissue are slightly acidic because they contain a lot of nitrogen. Okay? Sulfur can be slightly acidic, but in a good way. Phosphorus, very acidic. So when people open up a can of pop, do you know how much phosphoric acid is in a can of pop? It takes 30 glasses of water to neutralize the acidity of one can of pop. How many glasses of water?
30.
That's like a lot of days of drinking water, right? That's how much acidity there is in a cola. Why? Because it's full of phosphoric acid. Okay? So these types of minerals, in general, create a bit of acidity. And we need both in balance. Now, minerals are attracted to different areas of plants and animals. So generally, alkaline minerals are found in leaves and stems of plants and bones of animals. So you know a lot of people today are drinking bone broth soup or a lot of greens. The bones have a lot of calcium and magnesium and silica and collagen and all these other things that are good. But that's why they say eat a lot of salads, a lot of greens, because all that magnesium is so important to alkalize the body. Anything green has chlorophyll. And chlorophyll, what makes it green, is magnesium. Okay? In human tissues or animal tissues, the structure of chlorophyll and hemoglobin is exactly the same. The only difference is that in animal tissues, at the center there's iron, In plant tissues, there's magnesium. Did you guys know that? Yeah, now you do. Okay, so we go through that, but just so you guys know, the main difference between the blood of plants and the blood of animals is the mineral that's found at the center. Magnesium for plants, iron for animals. So if you take in a lot of chlorophyll, you're nourishing your blood as well, because your body will use that structure, add the iron in, and help build blood. Okay, so that's why they say eating a lot of greens is really useful. Now, acidic minerals are found in the seeds, grains, and roots of plants and muscles of tissues. And then finally, fruits and organs can be slightly acidic, slightly alkaline, or neutral. Some people say some fruits are very acidic, some are neutral, some are alkalizing. It's just based on their mineral content. Okay? But the whole goal here is to have balance. And I'm going to give you a simple example, and you'll tell me, is this balanced or not? A burger and fries. The bun, what is it? It's a grain of seed, which is acidic. Okay. Yeah, it's a carb, it's acidic, yeah. The meat is really muscle, and I said muscle is acidic. Fries, which is a root, is usually acidic. Now what's important here to notice is if they use the skin of the potato, that's where all the minerals are that are alkalizing. But they don't. They use all the inner stuff, which is all the starch, and starches are very acidic. So this would be an acid-forming meal. So what the body has to do to neutralize all this acid is it's going to pull stored minerals to deal with this acidity. Okay? Alternatively, why not just have a side salad with the burger? Say, you know what, I won't have the fries, I'm going to have a nice big salad, I'm going to balance it out. Do you guys get that's the key word here? Yes. It's not about taking everything away and being like you can't eat anything. It's about balance. So when I tell people is, okay, if you want to have your burger, don't order the fries, have a salad. If you don't need the bun, have the patty, have a lettuce wrap, have a salad, and you know what? You're getting even further ahead. Does that make sense? So those are little tiny shifts that you can start to look at and make to balance out your meals so that you can promote that balance in acid and alkalinity. You guys get that? Okay. So I want to talk about a few key minerals for beauty. So the first one is silicon. So silicon, or silica, is present in blood vessels, bones, cartilage, connective tissue, hair, ligaments, lungs, lymph nodes, muscles, nails, skin, teeth, tendons, and the trachea, which is in the lungs. What it really does, it helps maintain the elasticity of your arterial walls. In bones, it's found at the active growth areas. It helps prevent cavities and bleeding gums. It is the yoga mineral. How many of you like yoga? Do you practice yoga? Okay, so it actually, it's in muscles. About 2% of muscle tissue has silica in it, and it gives it that flexibility and that elasticity. All of your connective tissue, you know, the collagen, elastin, these are all made out of polysaccharides. They all have large quantities of silica. They are the bonding elements that hold us together. So they're what's maintaining the elastic quality of the skin, tendons, and even the eyes. So that's why silica is known as a beauty mineral. Do you guys get that? Okay. Now, the highest concentration of silica in the body is found in our hair and nails. Now, you guys are learning about beauty today, right? You guys are gonna be like, okay, where can I get this silica?
Yeah.
Well, first, are you deficient? So there are a few signs of deficiency. The first sign is poor skin quality, brittle nails and hair. How many of you have had people complain, my hairs are so brittle and my nails keep chipping, okay? Dental cavities. Okay, some people say, oh, I need more calcium, but what about silica? It makes it strong. Weak bones, tendons, and ligaments. There's atherosclerosis, which is when your arteries are weak or porous. They've lost a little bit of that elasticity, and some lung disorders. So silica plays a huge role in all of these things when they're deficient. But there are foods that we can eat that can give us natural sources of silica. One of them includes bamboo shoots. How many of you have gone to like a Thai restaurant or something and you see like pieces of bamboo shoots in there? Yeah. Those are very high in silica. Horsetail is an herb. It's very high in silica. So is nettles. So if you buy a tea, there's horsetail, there's nettles tea. These are very high in silica. And something that you can easily add to your salad are radishes. They are very high in silica. I know they taste very pungent, they're very sulfur rich as well, but they're also a beauty vegetable. Okay, so add some radishes to your salad, add that color. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Is dementia earth, is that got a silica in that?
Diatomaceous earth?
Yeah.
It does, but diatomaceous earth is more designed for a detox because it's pulling things through the colon out of the body.
It doesn't
Right.
get absorbed by the body.
Yeah. What you want to do is if you're going to take a supplement, you want to use something that's an ionic liquid silica, something like from a quartz crystal or Nova Scotia quartz or something like that, if you're not getting enough through your diet. But bamboo silica, a lot of people use. They use nettle. And there's a lot of supplements out there that contain silica today. It's one of the top selling like beauty supplements out there. You missed radishes. They are really good. Make sure you eat your radishes. Okay. Sulfur is another beauty mineral. It's also known as MSM, or methyl sulfonomethane. Now, sulfur is the foundational mineral of all beauty, because it produces a flame-like tint in the skin. It's also found in amino acids that build up a lot of our proteins, including methionine, taurine, cysteine, and cysteine. And cysteine makes up about 14% of all of your skin and hair. Sulfur-rich collagen is actually the most common protein in the body. And collagen is what retains fluids, provides elasticity and flexibility to the tissues. In your joints, things like glucosamine give cartilage its strength, structure, and resilience. Sulfur is also found in keratin, which is that fibrous protein that makes up 98% of your nails, okay? And a lot of it is also in your hair. How many of you guys can see that sulfur is very important for beauty? Okay, so just like silica. Now you're gonna say, where can I get this sulfur?
So is MSM a form of supplement?
MSM is now a crystalline form of sulfur that is readily available now. So a lot of people use that, but I'm gonna show you some foods as well. So signs of sulfur deficiency include acne, arthritis, brittle hair and nails, lingering muscle injuries, scar tissue. How many of you know people who got scar tissue, they want to get rid of it? Slow wound healing. You'll be like, hey, you need to add a bit more sulfur to your diet. Now there are a lot of sulfur-rich foods. So all of the mustard greens, the brassica family, like the kale, cabbage, cauliflower, asparagus, mustard greens, Brussels sprouts, all of those nice cooking things like onions and garlic that you like to make things, they're very sulfur rich. They've got that spiciness to them. Tomatoes, broccoli, avocado, bok choy, sweet potatoes, turnips and greens, watermelons and nuts. You guys see that we have a lot of options for sulfur in the diet, but where are they coming from? They're coming from whole foods. Do you guys see that? So they're abundant, but we just need to be aware that, you know what, I need to start incorporating silica-rich foods, a bit of sulfur-rich foods into my diet, and these are beautifying minerals that we're going to get.
Would you suggest them to eat raw?
You can eat them raw, but some things should be cooked. Things like kale, lightly steamed, is easier to digest. So some things can be eaten raw, other things slightly cooked. There's ways of preparing food that you learn about, and certain foods need to be lightly cooked. Yeah.
Can you also get salt from Epsom salts?
No. You might get some magnesium and other minerals. You may get some topically. I don't know if there's a lot of MSM in it, but there is MSM creams and lotions now that have a high concentration of MSM. So what you're really looking for is MSM, or just add a tablespoon of MSM into a bath if you want it topically. You can always do that. So if you do a bath, add Epsom salts, high in a lot of minerals, but then add a scoop of MSM as well. But MSM, internally taken, it's a really beautifying mineral. Okay, and it's really inexpensive too, which is great. The next mineral I want to touch on is zinc. Okay, most people are extremely zinc deficient in our society. Zinc works primarily through enzymes. Okay, so enzymes need zinc. So if you want to activate those 4,000 enzymes in your systems, remember I told you, more than 200 of those enzymes need zinc to be activated.
Wow, that's
Okay.
deep.
Yeah. It's required for skin beauty, cell and bodily growth, sexual development, fertility, taste and smell. Have you had people tell you, no, I can't taste anything, I can't smell stuff? They are actually zinc deficient. They're missing that, okay? In combination with vitamin A, it can help build strong hair. Zinc is really important for the reproductive systems. It increases male potency and sex drive. Properly nourished sexual organs raise sexual energy, creating more attractiveness and appeal. And for skin, zinc works with enzymes that maintain collagen supply. So when people are taking all this collagen, they can make their own collagen if they've got the building blocks. And zinc is the one thing that they need to, as a precursor, to help build collagen, along with vitamin C. It can also prevent wrinkling and stretch marks. How many of you have had people complain about stretch marks? Yes? Okay. Zinc. Add some zinc. So signs of zinc deficiency include acne. How many of you guys see acne comes up quite a bit when you don't have a lot of these beautifying minerals, right? A lot of people put stuff on, but they don't think about what do I need to take internally to get rid of the acne. A loss of taste and smell, slow growth in children. A lot of people have asked me, why are my kids not growing up faster, or they seem like stunted? They might be zinc deficient, because zinc is so important. Hair loss, rashes, skin disorders, sterility, low sperm count. We've had people that couldn't get pregnant, they couldn't have a child, there was something wrong. We just corrected their nutritional status, and all of a sudden, things took care of themselves. It could be as simple as zinc.
Yeah.
Delayed wound healing. Now, what are some zinc-rich foods? We've got poppy seeds, pumpkin seeds, pine nuts, cashews, pecans, macadamia nuts, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, and coconut. So when you're building your salad, you're going to add some radishes, on some nice greens, add some nice fruit to it, maybe for some juices, and then you're going to add your nuts and seeds, right? Because they're very zinc-rich. I love pumpkin seeds. How many of you like pumpkin seeds? Put it on a salad, you get that crunch, it's delicious. And nobody's allergic really to pumpkin seeds, right? So, are you? Oh, no?
Seeds, cashews,
Poppy seeds?
no, poppies.
You're okay? Okay.
We have Brazil nuts there.
Yes.
And if pumpkin seeds were roasted, is that kind of taking the zinc right out of it, or?
No,
is that-
the mineral will still be there.
Okay.
Yeah, minerals stay. Vitamins can be, usually minerals can be washed away, but heat will not necessarily destroy the minerals, but vitamins can be destroyed by heat. So vitamins are more heat sensitive, whereas minerals are not. Because you can make a bone broth soup and cook it for hours and the calcium will still be there, right? So it'll still be usable. Yes.
Sorry, how about zinc in coconut oil? You put coconut, but does it change in the processing of the coconut oil?
It's more in the coconut meat. Okay, because the oil will just have more of the fatty acids, but
Yeah.
the coconut meat has more of that.
The zinc.
Yeah.
Do you include Brazil nuts in the nuts?
Brazil nuts is also an option, but with Brazil nuts, you're looking at more selenium, which is another great mineral. I mean, yeah. A little bit about iron. So iron is the most active element in the human system. Iron-rich blood produces soft, glowing tint that's visible right underneath the skin. It's that nice red pinkness that we get. It's a source of magnetism or charisma because it's not, somebody who is iron deficient, do you notice that they're cold, they feel cold? There's not a lot of blood flow, but if you have a lot of iron in the system, there's this magnetic, there's this energy, there's this heat that comes out, and that's because iron generates a magnetic blood current and an magnetic induction current in our nerve spirals, which flow to our arteries, nourishing our tissues. So think of this magnetic thing happening because of the iron flowing through the blood. So it's really important. And iron-rich foods are best absorbed in the presence of vitamin C, like lemon juice. So when you're making your salad, instead of using a vinegar, use lemon juice. It's better for your liver. It's better at getting the iron out of the foods that you're about to eat. So some iron-rich foods include chickpeas, kidney beans, butter beans, and other legumes. Dark chocolate. How many of you love chocolate? Yeah? Especially raw cacao. If you add that to your smoothies, it's high in magnesium, high in iron. It makes your brain feel good. You feel happy. It's really good for the heart. It's one of those really good things to incorporate. Dates, spinach, peanuts, almonds, cashews, flax seeds, chia seeds, other seeds. So there's a lot of sources that are vegetarian for iron. You don't always need to eat the steak. Do you guys hear that everybody says, oh, you're going to be iron deficient if you don't eat your steak? You can, but what I'm telling you is there's a lot of other sources of foods that can be nourishing for the body. And the last mineral I just want to touch on is manganese. Think of manganese for the knees. Can you guys remember that? Tell your partner, manganese for the knees. And the reason I say that is anytime I've had clients that have had like clicking sounds on their joints and tendons, it's because it helps with the formation of cartilage, bone, and connective tissue. It improves the oxygenation of blood, and it's part of a lot of anti-inflammatory enzyme systems in the body. So we need manganese. It's one of those trace minerals. We don't need a lot of it, but we find it in a lot of things like cinnamon and cloves and raspberries and black pepper and kale and even pineapple. Okay, so it's there. And what I want you to get present to is that all of these foods are available. You just have to pick and choose them, combine them, and start incorporating them into your diet. And you're going to start giving your body the minerals, the enzymes, the juices it needs to build beauty, right? It's all there. It's all available. And you want to eat those things. They look great, don't they? When all that food was laid out today, didn't you want the fruit and the veggies, and wasn't it great? And sometimes it's that little bit of effort. It's like, you know what, I will pick up some of those fruits and vegetables. I will cut them up and eat them. And if I'm too lazy to eat them, I will put them in a smoothie, blend it up, and drink it in the morning. Because that is a simple way to get them into your system. Now there is one other thing we need to talk about, and that is healthy fat. How many of you know that fat is good for you? Fat is not bad for you, okay? I know it's hard. Take a deep breath. Everybody's afraid of fat. No, fat. No, okay. No, fat is actually very important. And the reason I say this is every cell, do you see that skin there? Every cell, every single cell has a bilipid layer like this. So you'll see these little tiny squiggly things. Do you guys see that on that side there? This is actually all fat. They are fatty acids. So surrounding every single cell, which is probably the brain of every cell, because it regulates what goes in, what goes out, inflammatory processes. In this tissue, right here, are fatty acids, fatty acids, fatty acids, fatty acids. Okay, in 2 layers, which means every single cell in your body is surrounded by fat. So fats are good. Turn to your partner and say, fats are good. Now, the question is, what fats are we going to put into those cells? Because fats will go into those cells. They will build your membrane by whatever fats you give it. Now the problem with the conventional diet is a lot of the fats that we take in are deep fried omega-6 oils. Corn, canola, soy oils, peanut oils, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys get that? Yeah. So our cells then become made out of these oils that have been manipulated, that have been changed, hydrogenated, saturated in certain ways, and they're not really good for our cell membrane. And the cell membrane is what decides what gets into your cell and what gets out. So remember I told you that part of the digestive process, the third element was assimilation? Do you guys remember that? Yeah. You can put all the nutrients you want in your bloodstream here, but if it doesn't get into the cell because this membrane isn't allowing it to, will it nourish the cell?
Wow.
No. So those nutrients won't get in because the cell is lazy, or it's just too rigid, or it's not the right structure. So to build a proper cell, you need to rebuild the membrane, and to rebuild the membrane, you have to build it from the right fat. Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
So you need the right oils to build
I agree with your
the right membrane.
response.
So things like borage oil or flax oil and borage oil, those are like the omega-3 parent oils. Flax can be converted into something called GLA. If you go to a health food store and they're like, yes, GLA is good for beauty, it's anti-inflammatory, you can get that from borage seed oil, okay? Those are great at dealing with inflammation and helping the skin get rid of redness. Olive oil, how many of you have heard that olive oil is very good? It's a good monosaturated fat. Hemp oil, okay, hemp seeds, hemp oil,
Yes.
very rich in omega-6. If you can get cold pressed hemp seed oil, a lot of your membrane is built by omega-6, omega-3s, and cholesterol. You need cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol is what gives a little bit of the structure to your cell membranes. So cholesterol is not a bad thing. In our courses, you learn that cholesterol is the foundational structure to build all of your hormones. Did you know that?
Say it again.
All of your hormones, the initial building block is cholesterol, testosterone, estrogen, all of those. Vitamin D, they are all built out of the cholesterol molecule. So just don't be afraid of cholesterol, just know it has to be in balance, but some people are afraid of it. They don't understand what it's doing in the body. But when you start studying here, you get to learn the distinctions of what is and how does it work and why is it important and what happens when it's imbalanced. How many of you like that information, right?
Love it.
It'd be very valuable.
It's really good.
Also, cacao butter. How many of you know about cacao butter? Oh my God, it's delicious in smoothies. It is nourishing for your skin inside out. Avocado oil, one of the best cooking oils because it's okay at high temperatures. It's also a very nourishing oil. And coconut oil as well, okay? If you're a vegetarian or if you're not a vegan, then you can also add ghee, which is clarified butter, which is also very nutritious, high in butyric acid, good for the gut. So there are a lot of healing oils that you want to start switching in your diet. They're going to help you build beauty as well. You want to have healthy fat, healthy minerals, and vitamins. And then I have to talk a little bit about protein, right? Now, just so you guys know, the standard North American diet, we get enough protein in our diet. People think they don't eat enough protein. We get enough protein, okay? And there are many sources of protein, but what I wanted you to know for beauty is to build collagen. There are a few amino acids that we need. There's glycine, there's proline, and hydroxyproline. And we need those, but we also need the other 6 essential amino acids. And a lot of the foods we eat today have all the 9 essential amino acids to build all the tissues, including collagen. But what's missing in people's diets is the vitamin C, the silica, and the zinc. Because if you had those minerals, your body would activate the enzymes to build its own collagen. So for beauty, you need protein, but you also need minerals, and you also need things like vitamin C. How many of you know a good source of vitamin C? What's one? Kiwi, oranges,
Lemons.
bell pepper, exactly. Yes,
All the lemons, like.
greens. Anything colorful will have a lot of vitamin C. Okay, so a lot of good sources. Camu powder is another good example. You can add these things to your smoothies. Okay, high in vitamin C. Now, before we complete, I know it's 3 o'clock. Is it okay if I go over a few minutes? Are you guys enjoying this? Yes? Okay. The last topic I wanted to cover was free radicals. So remember when we looked at our chart here, we said that antioxidants, inflammation, and lifestyle. Well, part of antioxidants and why we need them is because our body is inundated by free radical damage every single day. So what is a free radical? Basically, it's an atom that's missing an electron. How many of you remember your high school physics class? It's being way too long? Okay. So don't worry about it. Just think of it, everything is made out of atoms. That's like the basic element. But when it's missing an electron, which is a little bit of energy, it becomes unstable. And when it's unstable, it wants to take an electron, take care, it wants to take an electron from somewhere else. So it causes a free radical. It's going out there and robbing electrons from things. And when it's in your body, it can take those electrons from your tissues and damage it. It can damage DNA, it can do a lot of stuff. So we get free radicals from UV light, so too much sun exposure, from inflammation, that causes free radical damage, from our daily metabolism. Our body naturally produces free radicals as it's doing its day-to-day energy production. From smoking, tons of toxins go in the body when people smoke. That's a lot of toxins and a lot of free radicals going into the bloodstream throughout tissues. Radiation, air pollution, and so on. Do you guys get a lot of environmental factors as well? So free radicals cause damage by taking electrons, and they damage the DNA of cells. So it could be a cause of things like a cell that becomes cancerous, right? Because if it's damaged as DNA, when it replicates, it might not be proper. It might replicate incorrectly. And it reduces our immune system function and causes a lot more diseases. So exposure to chemicals, radiation, smoke, pollution, metabolic processes all create free radicals. And that puts stress on our body. I'll give you a simple example. If you were to take a tomato and you left it out, over time, what would happen to it?
Ferment.
Decompose it, turn whatever. But a better example is if you cut an apple in half and you leave it to the air, what happens to it? It turns
Brown.
brown. That's called oxidation. That's oxygen oxidizing or putting stress on that plant and starting to turn it brown. Same thing happens to your body with free radicals. But if you add some lemon juice on top of that cut apple, what happens? It stays, right? So that's when you make a salad, you add your lemon juice, those little chunks of apple, they don't turn brown. Why? Because the lemon juice is an antioxidant. It's giving up its electrons to ensure that the apple doesn't have to. Similarly, you can ingest antioxidants that will protect your body from oxidative stress. Now, the worst type of oxidative stress in our diet comes from fried oils. Okay? Like those oils that are, so those French fries, oh, the side salad doesn't sound so bad now, right? So skip that. So antioxidants are natural compounds that help protect the body from harmful free radicals. And they include phytochemicals from plants, like vitamins A, C, E, the minerals zinc and selenium, and of course bioflavonoids. Now right now all that's just going over your head. The one thing I want you to remember is colors.
Yes.
When you're eating colors in fruits and vegetables, those are antioxidants. You guys see a lot of beautiful colors there in those foods? Those are antioxidants. Pigments are where we find a lot of these antioxidants. So when you eat raspberries and blueberries and kiwi and some nuts and seeds and cacao powder and spices, those all have these deep, rich colors. So remind yourself that when I eat color, I'm eating antioxidants. Turn to your partner and tell them that. When I eat color, I'm eating antioxidants. So this is something I found from Dr. Axe, and these are his top high antioxidant foods. So there's goji berries, wild blueberries, dark chocolate, pecans, artichokes, elderberries, kidney beans, cranberries, blackberries, and cilantro. From herbs, there are cloves, cinnamon, oregano, turmeric, cacao powder, cumin, parsley, basil, ginger, and thyme. You guys are now getting hungry?
I was just about to say,
right?
I'm like so hungry. Wow.
Yeah, but I was, yeah,
So this brings us to our beauty blueprint. The first pillar was digestive health and inner cleanliness. What are 2 or 3 actions we can take or write down on your box here that can help with digestive health and inner cleanliness? Do you guys remember a few? Water. Let's write that down.
Clean water.
Clean water. Number 2, good bacteria. Enzymes. Fiber. Chewing your food, right? Liquefy, right? Remember the word liquefy.
Blending. Oh yeah.
Blending, yes.
I have
have one question about grass seed oil. Is it
Grape
grapeseed?
seed? Yeah.
Is it good for frying or?
Grapeseed, some people have used. It's a great topical oil if you put it externally.
So it's not good for frying because.
You could use it, but I would say, the best one would be avocado. Right now, it's the most stable, it's nourishing. If you're doing a light saute, you could use grapeseed, but I would say anything heated, stick with coconut, or stick with avocado, or butter ghee. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you for presenting.
It's very good for you. Yeah. Coconut oil is good for you. Okay, so for antioxidants, inflammation, lifestyle, the key word there was color. When I eat colors and pigments, those nice colors and pigments, those are antioxidants. Acid-alkaline balance. Do you guys remember? Some minerals are alkalizing, some are acidifying. But usually we find that the alkalizing minerals are found in the leaves and stems, right? And the acidifying ones are found in the seeds, the grains, the roots, and the muscle tissue, right? So we want to have a balance of both. One or the other isn't bad. And finally, we want a diet that's rich in whole foods because they're going to give us that juice of life. They're going to give us those minerals. They're going to give us those healthy fats. They're going to give us those enzymes to direct the body and code it to create beauty. So with that, I want to thank you for participating in my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes?